This is Tina Watson. She doesn't know it yet, but she's just hours away from her final dive. She's on her dream honeymoon in Australia and is newly married, and in less than 2 days she'll be found laying at the bottom of the ocean. Her husband will have survived, but she won't. And what happened in between has left questions that no one's been able to answer. Tina was 26 from Alabama. She was soft-spoken, kind, and a little shy. She loved Disney and her dog and organizing her room. She met Gabe Watson in college, who was the exact opposite, the adventurous type. Tall, loud, confident, and a certified diver. They fell in love fast and married even faster. Her dad thought it was too fast, but Tina didn't care because she was in love. So they married on October 11th, 2003. 10 days later, they were on a plane heading to Queensland, then on a boat heading to their first dive. The site was the SS Yolanga. It's a shipwreck off the coast of Queensland. It's a beautiful dive site teeming with coral and fish and marine life. But the thing is, it wasn't for beginners. And so as you can imagine, Tina was nervous. She'd only just been certified. But Gabe insisted that they dive anyway, said he'd handle the plan. Witnesses saw Tina struggling with her gear, but Gabe didn't help at all. In fact, he looked really annoyed at that. And so they had to come in and help Tina with her gear. Once they jumped in, they released air from their BCD and started their descent towards the shipwreck. 3 minutes into the dive, nearby divers spotted the couple. Tina was hovering upright. Gabe was facing her. He held her, then let go, and Tina started dropping straight down. She wasn't kicking, she wasn't struggling, and there was no sign of panic. She sank like somebody unconscious or someone who's already given up. Gabe surfaced alone, slowly, calmly. He didn't shout for help, didn't look panicked, didn't even look concerned. He swam back to the boat like nothing had happened. When the crew asked, Gabe said Tina panicked, said she knocked off his mask and his regulator, said he tried to save her but couldn't. But his dive computer said otherwise. There was no emergency ascent, no sudden change in depth, no struggle, no chaos. And other divers backed this up. They said that Gabe didn't look like someone who'd lost his wife. He looked fine. The boat crew knew something was wrong. A guy threw on gear and jumped in. By now, several minutes had passed and Tina was still missing. When the guide reached the ocean floor, he started cold. Tina was laying flat, 30 meters down. Her regulator was still in her mouth and her tank was still half full. Her gear was still functioning. There was no sign of injury, no trauma, and no movement. No claw marks, no flailing, no evidence she'd fought to live. Gabe told 3 different versions of what happened, but none of them matched. In one, Tina panicked, ripped off her mask and reg. In another, she sank too fast and slipped from his grip. And in a third, she struggled to equalize and broke away. But again, the dive computer showed no sudden movements. His dive profile was smooth and controlled. And every diver who was nearby confirmed this. And then came the kicker. Investigators checked his home computer. 2 weeks before the wedding, someone had searched how to control a diver's air supply, and how to rescue a drowning person, and scuba diving accidents. And then, the insurance policy. Tina had signed one before the trip, and Gabe was the sole beneficiary. It was worth $130,000. Tina's father said he had no clue about this and he would never have agreed. For nearly 6 years, Tina's family pushed for justice. Finally, in 2009, Gabe returned to Australia. He was charged with murder, but the charge was dropped to manslaughter. Gabe pled guilty. He was sentenced to 4.5 years, but he served 12 months and then went back to the US and remarried. Only 2 people were down that day. Only one came up, and he never gave a clear answer. Tina's death didn't lead to new diving laws. No change in policy, no change in regulation. But it did change something else. How divers think about their buddy. Because underwater, your life isn't just in your hands, it's in someone else's. And that means trust isn't optional. This wasn't about faulty gear. This was about what happens when trust is broken. This was Tina Watson's final dive. So the question is, would you notice the red flags before it's too late? Like and subscribe, and dive smart.